Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am sharing what we have planned for my daughter's kindergarten school year of homeschool. My daughter is 5. She doesn't turn 6 until January, so according to our state laws, we are not legally registered as a homeschool family yet, and so I'm taking advantage of that this year. And I did look up my state laws and figure out what we needed to do to meet them so that next year when we do file, we are already prepared. And if you saw my video from last year, then you would know that we actually did that last year as well. And so we're already kind of in a rhythm of what we need to do to meet our state's requirements. And so I figured why not continue doing that this year. But there actually are quite a few changes I am making to our curriculum this year and to the things that I have planned for us. So I wanted to go ahead and make you guys a new video and tell you what I'm planning on doing with my daughter for her kindergarten year of homeschool. So if that's something you'd be interested in seeing, then just keep watching. Okay, so I'm very excited for this coming school year. For preschool, we did a lot of the basics, learning her letters, shapes, colors, just reviewing all of that good stuff, her numbers. And so I'm really excited because this year we're really going to get to expand on all of that. And we're going to get kind of creative and explore some new topics that we haven't really discussed yet. And I really want to focus on things that she's interested in this year. Since she is getting older, she obviously is showing interest in certain subjects. She's getting more curious and asking more questions, and so I really want to feed off of that this year. But with that being said, the first thing that I did to make sure that we're meeting our requirements is I looked up our state's guidelines and found out what subjects we have to teach. So obviously it's going to be different wherever you live, so make sure you check out and see what your state requires of you. For our state, we are required to do reading, English language arts, math, science, and social studies. I believe that's all of them. And then I also do PE, which right now we're not able to do, but I do put her in PE at our local YMCA, so that is something she does. And then also I like to do other extracurriculars with her that I will get into once I get into my lesson plans. But that was where I started. That was just the base of what I needed to know in order to get started with planning out our kindergarten year. And then what I did is I went online and I found a kindergarten goals chart, which I did this last year as well. And so I just searched on Google kindergarten goals and I printed this out, and I really like this because it's just a fun way to visualize everything that we need to do. And a lot of this she actually can already do. So I'm going to review a lot of this with her over the summer just so she doesn't forget it. And then hopefully when we start kindergarten, we can check off some of these things and move on to some of the other stuff she hasn't really done yet. So this is a great way to get just a base idea of what kinds of things that she should be learning this year. One of my biggest fears when I started homeschooling was that I wasn't going to be able to teach her what she needed to know, or I was scared that, which I'm sure everybody feels the same way, but I was really scared that I was going to not teach her enough and she was going to fall behind or something like that. So I really like to just have these goals just as a guideline for me when we're going throughout the year. So that was the first thing that I did. And then I went ahead and picked up a new planner. This is the planner that I'm using this year. I really like this planner. I used a planner similar to this last year, and the layout is just perfect. So they have a section for the subjects and then every single day. And so I really like that because I could plan out every single subject, make sure we're meeting our requirements. And yeah, it just makes it easier for me to split it up like that. And then it also has the monthly calendar at the beginning of each month where I put any holidays, our school schedule, if she's off any days. So I really like this planner. It was really helpful last year This is actually a different brand, but it's very similar in the way that it's structured, so I will leave a link down below. I got this on Amazon, and I went ahead and planned out her whole year in here, so that is the second thing that I got. And then the third thing I got before I planned out anything at all was a workbook. So I found this workbook at Aldi. It is the, I think I got this at Aldi. It is the Good Grades Kindergarten Workbook, and it's for ages 5 through 6. And I actually picked up a first grade one as well. If we go through this really fast, then I have a first grade one. But I really like these because it just helps me, again, meet those goals. And I don't have to worry if she's learning. We can see her make progress, and it gives us something to do. So yeah, I love these workbooks, and I've noticed these workbooks are usually like math and English based, so it's really easy for me to plan out what we're going to do in ELA and what we're going to do in math. So that was the basis of where I started before I started planning out my curriculum this year. And so then what I did is I just went through each of the subjects. So for ELA, I just went through this entire workbook. In the back, it starts with letters, and I just wrote out each page that had to do with a specific letter. And honestly, I think we're going to go through this really, really quick because she's already done all of her letters, but this one kind of expanded on it, and it like asks you to do things that we didn't really do last time. For example, it says circle the objects that begin with letter W, so that'll be fun. It has some words in here that she can write. It has some sentences that she can fill in. So it was a little bit more complicated than what she did last year in preschool, so I thought that that would be a good base point to start at. And so the way that I'm doing English and math this year is alternating. I actually did this last year as well, and it worked really well for us. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday we will do ELA worksheets, and then Tuesday and Thursday we will do math worksheets. And we should be able to finish going through this entire book by winter break, and most of this is actually review for her. But there is some new stuff in here. One thing I really liked about this workbook is that it has sight words. So we've never done sight words with her or spelling or anything like that, and I'm not going to make her do like spelling tests or anything, but I just think it would be good to start introducing specific words to her, and we're going to go over them every single morning. So what I'm going to do with the sight words is incorporate them into our morning board, which I will get into in just a second. But yeah, so we're going to do ELA, and then we'll do our math all from the workbook, and then of course we're going to have like some fun activities here and there with this stuff as well. And then the subjects that I usually struggle with her is science and social studies. Science not so much, because there's so many activities we can do. There's so many experiments and fun projects. But social studies, last year I was really worried about it because I wasn't sure what a 4 or 5-year-old would learn in social studies. So just like I did last year, I just looked up some stuff that had to do with social studies for kindergarten and focus on that. For social studies this year, I really want to focus on like her characteristics, on people, cultures, that sort of thing. So for example, this first week we're just doing it all about her, and so I planned a few activities throughout the week that she can do all about her. And then we'll incorporate some books with whatever subject we pick or whatever our focus is for that week. But the biggest change this year versus last year is that I've decided this year to do units. So I've seen a lot of homeschooling families do unit studies, and I love the idea behind it because you can take one unit and utilize it with all the subjects that you have and get really creative with it. And I've seen a lot of really fun ideas out there and projects and things like that. So that's what I've decided to do this year with her, is have units. So to come up with my units, I decided to use the Magic School Bus. I'm in a couple homeschool groups on Facebook, and I actually saw somebody post about a Magic School Bus science kit, I think it was, And I just thought that was really interesting because my daughter has recently discovered Magic School Bus on Netflix, and they were talking about how you can incorporate those concepts into your schooling and do different science experiments around them, and then you can also show the Magic School Bus episode. So I went online and I looked up all of the Magic School Bus episodes, which I actually then took, and I wrote down every single episode and what the episode was teaching, or like what it was about, what the theme was. And then I picked out ones that I thought that she would be interested in and split up our school year based on that. So the first unit that we're going to be doing this year is colors. This actually doesn't really have anything to do with Magic School Bus, but she's been very into watercolors recently. She has started asking about what colors make other colors, color mixing, that sort of thing. And so she's just very curious about colors right now, and so that's what we're going to focus on in the beginning of the year. We're going to do a color mixing activity, and then we're going to do rainbows. So I just broke down each unit into smaller pieces that we can focus on for a week, 2 weeks, however long we need until she gets that concept, or as long as she's interested in it. And that's what we're going to base our science around, and we'll try to incorporate it with her math and her English and everything else. So we're going to do colors, we're going to do space, we're going to do health and body, community helpers and military, gratitude around Thanksgiving time, weather, holidays and Christmas around Christmas time, animals, and then we're going to do a unit on nature and bugs, and then we're going to end the year with insects, bugs, and nature. So those are the units I have planned, and then I just kind of wrote out our smaller categories under there, and then on my planner I went through and came up with different activities we could do. If there was a Magic School Bus episode that went with it, I wrote that down so we can watch that on Fridays. If there's an episode that kind of has to do with the theme that we're doing for that week. And so I'm really excited to do this year. I think it's going to be really fun to incorporate into our classroom, and it'll kind of make things more interesting, so we're not just doing worksheets and workbooks. She loves doing workbooks, and that's the only reason we still do them. If she didn't enjoy it, honestly, I would rather focus on like playing and getting outside and doing stuff like that, which we're still gonna do, but she loves doing worksheets and she picks up on it really fast, and so we are gonna keep incorporating that. But I think the unit studies will be a fun addition to that, and it'll get us more creative, and we can do some experiments and some more fun activities. So that is the biggest difference we're doing this year. We kind of did something similar to this last year. I picked a theme for every single week, but I think this is going to be easier because it's more organized and we can focus on one thing at a time. And then obviously if she shows interest in a different category, I'm gonna kind of try to base what we do on what she's interested at the time. But this is just a good guideline for me so that I know what we can do if we're not doing something else. So that is kind of what I did for science and social studies. And then, like I said, PE we do at the YMCA, and then she's also in sports, so I'm not worried about PE. And then last year we started Bob's books with her at the end of the year, and she went through the first set pretty quickly, and so I got this Bob books first stories for her for this year. So I actually think we're going to start the year with the other box and just review those, and then we're going to move on to these once we're done reviewing the other ones. She really enjoys reading these, and I love these because they are very simple, and she's able to read them, which makes her excited and feel confident in her reading, and so she's more willing to try sounding out harder words and expanding on that. And so I'm really excited to see her grow in her reading skills this year. And then also with reading, last year we did Storytime. We may or may not still do Storytime. I haven't decided. There are some other extracurricular things that I am interested in with her this year that she's actually old enough to do. And the Storytime we go to is normally has kids around 3 and under. And so she is getting a little bit older, and so if we find a different activity, then we might start doing that instead. But I haven't really decided, but that is something else we might also do. So I think that covers all of the subjects that we're doing this year. And then now I want to talk to you guys about some fun new things that we're going to be incorporating in our morning board. So let me go ahead and flip this around so you guys can see. Alright guys, so if you saw my homeschool room tour, then you've already seen our new morning board, but here it is again. I'm very happy with how it turned out, but this year for our morning board, we are going to be focusing on calendar. So I've got the month up there. We're going to talk about what day it is. There is a song that we're going to be doing. It's the Addams Family, but it's the words are the day of the week. So it's on YouTube. You can look it up. But it's just a really fun song and a good way for her to memorize her days. So we're going to go ahead and sing that every single morning. We are going to discuss the weather. So we're going to go see what today's weather is. We're going to predict what tomorrow's weather is. And then the next day, you know, obviously we would see if our prediction is right, and we'll do the same thing again. So that is the other thing we're going to do with morning board. And then I'm still going to be doing a letter every single week, a number, either a color or shape, the season, and how she is feeling. So that is something we did last year, and I really like doing that, so we're going to do that again. The only difference is that we are going to go in alphabetical order this time, just because it's going to follow what we're doing in our workbooks. And then for our numbers, we're going to keep going past, I think we got to 20 last year, so we're going to do up to 50 this year. So, and then when we do like our number, we'll just say what the number is, we'll count to it, and then sometimes I have her draw it or count an object or do something like that. So that is what we're going to do for morning board. And then next to that is where I have this little pouch organizer, and that's where I'm going to put all of her sight words. So every single morning we will review her sight words. We'll just say them out loud and read them. And we're going to do that every single day for a week, and then we'll switch it the next week. So that is what we're doing for morning board this year. So another thing we're going to do this year that I'm really, really excited about, because I remember doing this when I was a kid and when I was in school, is show and tell. So I actually asked my son what his fondest memories of kindergarten and first grade were, and one of his was show and tell, which I thought was funny because that's one of my fondest memories as well. And so obviously we're not in a classroom setting, so she doesn't have a bunch of people to share it with, and usually during the week it's just her and I. So what we're going to do is on Mondays I am going to give her a theme or a category or something specific to look for. For example, if our color of the week is white, then maybe for that week her show and tell item will be things that are white. So something like that. For this first week, since we're doing all about me, she's just going to find 3 things about herself, or 3 things that she enjoys, 3 things that she wants to show us that she likes. So I'm going to give her a bag at the beginning of the week, and this will be good independent, a good independent activity for her as well. I don't want to be super involved in it. I want to just kind of give her the instructions and then just let her do her thing throughout the week. And then on Fridays we have little like family meetings. We just kind of talk about what we're going to be doing the next week and that sort of thing. And so during those, she is going to bring her bag and show us what items she put in there and kind of talk about it a little bit and show us why she picked those things. So I just thought that that would be really fun. It's a good way for her to kind of do something independent on her own, and yeah, I'm really excited for it. So that is also a new thing we're doing this year that I'm very excited for and looking forward to. And then the other thing, and again, along with the unit studies, this is probably the biggest change from last year, is I want her to be a little bit more independent this year. Last year, we finished school super quick. It would take us maybe 20 minutes at the most to finish her worksheets or whatever we were doing for that day. And I don't want that to change this year. I think that's perfect. I don't want to spend a ton of time on school. Again, she is only 5. We're not even registered with the state yet, so we don't have to meet specific time guidelines or anything. And I think it's really important for her at this age to just be kind of exploring and playing and doing some learning on her own. But one thing I noticed last year is that she would get bored really easily. When we weren't doing school, I felt like I was constantly trying to find things for her to do. And so I really want her to be more independent this year and play with her toys a little bit more. And so I've decided to rearrange the room a little bit. And if you saw my room tour, this is what I kept referring to when I said that it would make more sense in my curriculum video. But if you haven't seen that, go back and watch that. But basically, I've set up the room with more floor space, and I have different sections around the room. So I'm going to have like a little math area, and she's going to have activities that kind of have to do with math. They're not going to be like specific, like, oh, count these, or what are these shapes, stuff like that. It's going to be like games, toys, Legos, blocks, manipulatives, things that she can use that are fun, but will still be educationally beneficial, I guess. And so I'm gonna kind of do that around the room, and she's gonna have certain times during our worksheets or after our morning board. I haven't decided exactly how I'm gonna do it, where she's just gonna have independent playtime. And I think this will be really good for both of us because it'll give me some time to do some things that I need to do, and it'll keep her occupied. Hopefully with us rotating toys and rotating activities, then she won't get bored as easily and she'll be entertained a little bit longer. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing how this works for us. I also want to kind of incorporate our units with this. So for example, one week we're doing space, and we've got some space puzzles that I'm going to put out. We've got some space flashcards. We have some like little foam balls that look like planets, so I'm going to put those out that she can play with. So things like that I think will just be really fun, and it'll kind of get her creative, and she can do art, she can do math. We're going to have an English language arts area set up. I want to put out less books because last year I just had all of our books sitting out and she rarely touched them. But I think if I just put out specific books, then maybe she will look at them more. So yeah, so that is the biggest change from last year to this year, is that we're doing the unit studies, and I'm going to be incorporating a lot more independent learning and exploration and self-learning, I guess. I just really want to see what she's interested in, and I really kind of want her to guide what we are doing. If I'm noticing that she's really interested in Legos, then I can incorporate Legos more into our math or our English or whatever we're doing that week. So that is kind of my idea for this year. I'm not going to be super strict with the schedule, but I am a planner, so I like having everything laid out. That way, if I'm just having an off day, if I'm feeling lazy, we can, at the bare minimum, come in here and look at my planner and be like, okay, well, we could do worksheet 144 today, and just get the worksheet done, and then she can do some self-play. I'm not gonna be super strict about it. Again, I'm not trying to force her to do a lot of work right now. I think that it's really important right now that she just kind of enjoys learning, and I really want her to find a love for learning and reading and all of that kind of stuff. So we're going to read a lot more read alouds this year. I have started doing research on books that I can incorporate in our unit studies, and I'm really excited for that. Hopefully, once all of this stuff is cleared up, hopefully it'll be cleared up by next year, we can start going to the library more. There's always fun things to do at the library. I did mention earlier, and I forgot to elaborate on it, but there are some extracurriculars I want to do with her this year, and one of them is a class at our local nature park. They do like a science class once a week, and so I thought that that would be really fun. I think it's like 30 minutes to an hour, and they go and they have like nature journals, and they go and look at nature, and they talk about the birds and the animals and all of that stuff. So I thought that that would be really fun. So lots of exciting stuff happening this year. The only thing I haven't been able to plan that I was looking forward to planning is field trips. I was really looking forward to field trips this year, but with everything going on right now, I haven't put too much thought into it. I'm just gonna wait, and the closer we get, I know that things will start to open up and we will be able to kind of plan that stuff out then. But for now, I just planned out everything that I knew we could do, and we'll go from there once we know what's going on and what is available to us. So anyways, I hope this video was helpful for you guys if you are trying to plan out your year as well. Hopefully maybe it gave you some ideas. And yeah, I really appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.